Just a few weeks ago, the newly introduced Doctor Who companion bragged about how socially relevant the upcoming season would be in order to cater to the modern audience. Well, that virtue signaling did not help her, because not only has she already been fired, she was humiliated and thrown under the bus in the process. The entertainment media complex did not take Saturday, January 20th off, as within hours, what started as rumours emanating from UK publication The Daily Mirror, namely that the newly introduced Doctor Who companion, played by Millie Gibson, had been let go, was not just picked up, but confirmed by the trades. And not only was it confirmed that she had indeed been dropped, her replacement was at the same time formally announced, Varada Sethu of Andor fame. Although fame may be the wrong term whenever talking about Andor. For those who might not know, Andor was that Star Wars series on Disney Plus which hardly anyone saw, so it famously had to chase the audience. Either way, back to Doctor Who. What is off about this is that the whole first season with the new Doctor is already in the can and won't start broadcasting until May. But now we already know the companion has been let go and been replaced. So however few Doctor Who fans remain, probably better not get too attached to Millie's character, even if the newly fired actress tried to endear herself to audiences by promising the upcoming season would take a deep dive into topics like identity and social justice. You know, the regular stuff that Gen Z, aka the modern audience, cares so deeply about. Alas, as we're about to see another example of later in this video, all that virtue signaling did not protect her, because by all outwardly accounts, she was still fired. Granted, there have been past examples of companions only lasting one season, and I'm sure there have been many times where that was the actor's choice, but this wasn't one of those times. We can surmise that she was indeed fired, because Deadline Hollywood referenced the original and vindicated source by saying, "The Mirror said the decision was made by Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies, and Gibson will not appear in the 2024 Christmas special after her first full season, which premieres in May." In other words, it wasn't the actress who decided that she wanted to leave, it was showrunner Russell T Davies' call that she do, which is another way of saying she was fired. But why then was she fired? That we do not know. Feel free to let me know what you think might be the reason in the comments. But I gotta say, I sincerely hope that she did something really bad, because they are really throwing her under the bus here, and when you humiliate a young actress this way, there better be a damn good reason for it. And yes, they do humiliate her, because the production team are confident that you'll get over her in no time. They certainly have. Deadline Hollywood reports, Millie Gibson has all but left now, and there's a brand new companion, which is really exciting, a source told The Mirror. Russell is keeping things moving and isn't letting the grass grow, that's for sure. On Sethu, a BBC source added, Varada is a real gem. Russell was blown away by her talent. The cast and crew have really warmed to her, and he's sure the fans will too. Yeah, that's really nice for Varada Sethu, but make no mistake about it, that's the showrunner, the cast, the crew, the BBC and the Daily Mirror, who whether they intend to or not, by way of unfiltered leaks, all rake Millie Gibson over the coals as being entirely forgettable. Not a great way to promote the upcoming season, and certainly disastrous to a young actress. Too bad for her that the modern audience the series is going out of its way to appeal to are probably over her already. You see, it doesn't matter how much she tried to virtue signal just a few weeks ago, for the modern audience is a merciless bunch, something the wife of David Tennant, the 10th and 14th Doctor, can attest to. Because that is the other story related to Doctor Who, where past virtue signaling does not offer one iota of protection in the present. This comes to us by way of Fandom Pulse, where John Delarose wrote the story about George Tennant being bullied off of X. not for in any way actively supporting Israel, but for failing to condemn it. For this high crime, she was accused of being a Zionist and piled on till she left X. And again, this is someone who, up until this point, has gone out of her way to virtue signal her adherence to every ideopolitical issue that the cancel pigs, thank you for the term, Mark Millar, value, but there is no leftover credit for her doing that. Now, she was suspected of wrongthink, and for that there can be no mercy, because among these people you are guilty the moment the mere accusation is made. In fact, David Tennant better be careful, because simply by association he could be next. That is the problem you face when you cater to a modern audience, and that is exactly what David Tennant has done. And I'm not just talking about Doctor Who here, or his past statements, but more specifically, the one time he really went all in on current year virtue signaling, more than he ever did either before or since. And that would be in the 2021 adaptation of Around the World in 80 Days. That miniseries, distributed by the BBC of course, took subversion to a whole new level.
We very much wanted to give Around the World in 80 Days a kind of contemporary slant. So whilst it's very definitely a period story, we wanted the characters to have a modern identity and, in a sense, a modern sensibility.
Modern sensibility. Modern sensibility. Modern sensibility.
This is a place where my soul's come to die.
It's entirely based in the truth of the period. It deals with colonialism and racism and the place of women in society. All of those questions are addressed, but not in a heavy-handed way. It's going to give a younger, modern audience the best of both worlds.
Younger, modern audience. Younger, modern audience. Younger, modern audience.
Yeah, everything's fine. Why wouldn't it be fine?
It did to Jules Verne and classical literature what Rian Johnson and The Last Jedi did to Luke Skywalker and Star Wars. We are talking that level here. You wouldn't even believe all the madness in it unless you saw it, which I'd never ask you to do. Instead, we made a detailed post-mortem retrospective of it, where we begin with going through and breaking down the original story and how it should be told, so one can appreciate just how badly it was subverted in order to cater to the mythical modern audience. Since that is the kind of video that isn't usually pushed by this platform, we would greatly appreciate if you would check it out, leave a like and help share it. And if you should happen to see this video in the hours after it was released, then join us for the 80 Days premiere. Link is in the pinned comment and description. With that, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments.